Okay, folks, we are back here at the Reg.A Money Show, and as promised, we've got Darren Marble from CrowdFundX, friend of the show. Darren, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for having me back on.
Happy New Year to you, too. Boy, I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of people in the world that are more busy than you these days, it seems like. You're traveling and doing all kinds of stuff, huh?
I appreciate it, man. We've worked really hard to get here. It's been a 9-year journey, and fits and starts, and we're really excited to be involved in this industry. And I think we're going to see an incredible 2018, and all of us have a lot of good things to look forward to this year.
I think it's going to be a very exciting time in the Reg.A industry. And guys, if you're joining us, this is Miguel Dotres with Ron Costa and Darren Marble from CrowdFundX on the Reg.A Money Show. And talking about Reg.A, Darren, what we're seeing is a lot of talk, and a lot of people are looking to jump into Reg.A. You got a lot of companies that are sitting on the fence, wondering when their time is going to be. But what we'd like to do, Ron and I at the show, we're talking about the new year and what 2018 has in store for the Reg.A industry. What do you think is going to be that one major shift or that one major trend that you're expecting for 2018?
Well, I think there's probably a couple trends worth talking about. So maybe we do a quick recap. We saw 8 companies achieve Reg.A Plus IPOs and list shares to national securities exchanges. And this year, I think we're going to see inevitably exponential growth. So, one prediction is that we will see the first $50 million Reg.A Plus IPO going to NASDAQ or NYSE. I believe that it will be a hybrid deal involving a combination of investment from both Wall Street and Main Street investors. So that's kind of one prediction. We haven't seen it yet. We saw Chicken Soup for the Soul raise $30 million. Fat Brands, which we were honored to be a part of, did $24 million. Both of those were hybrid offerings, marketing to different investor segments. So I think this is definitely the year we're going to see a company max out, hit $50 million. And I'll tell you guys, it's not going to be a startup. It's going to be an established business that has tens of millions, maybe low hundreds of millions in annual revenue, that has an existing customer base. We've been talking about this for months. The industry is moving upstream. We're moving upstream. I think Reg CF is great for smaller companies, startups, but I think the company that hits that $50 million mark this year is going to be a real company with operating history. And honestly, they might not be the only one. We could see multiple companies max out at 50 this year.
Well, that's interesting, because we've been talking about the new threshold for Reg.A. They're going to be pushing it up soon to $75 million. But you're right. We think that in 2018 you're going to see more matured, brand. Eccentric, with huge followings coming out, who have been sitting watching this and realizing that they can obtain a path to capital markets through a large exchange. So I think we agree with you on that point. Now, what do you think for as company? Now, what do you think about when we talk about hybrids? We had a great show with you last time that you were talking about the hybrid deal, and we had a lot of comments and a lot of questions in regards to exactly, what was meant by hybrid. So it just, not to take too much time, but just if you would give us an idea of what the hybrid is going to involve. And then also, Darren, you talked about, a broker-dealer, like a syndication plus, the Main Street, Wall Street married along with Main Street. Could you talk and give our listeners a little bit about, why that is so important to have that kind of hybrid offering? And you're seeing it. You're seeing just the beginning of it now. But explain why that is going to be the major trend to our listeners here on the Reg.A Money Show.
Absolutely. And look, I think you hit the nail on the head there. A hybrid offering, as we define it, is an offer that raises capital effectively from both Wall Street and Main Street investors under the same umbrella, same cost basis. And to execute that type of campaign, the issuer, as a requirement, needs to partner with an underwriter. The underwriter becomes the quarterback in the deal. they do the due diligence, they assign valuation terms, timing, and then a firm like ours or the issuer themselves potentially organizes, an online crowd campaign. Now, the reason that this is a increasingly popular method for Reg.A Plus, there's actually several reasons. One, by targeting multiple investor segments, the issuer can raise more capital than they could if they were just going online or just going on a traditional roadshow. Two, they get this tremendous benefit and value of marketing their brand. They're building massive brand equity when they're in Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times. That awareness not only helps them raise capital, it helps them acquire new customers. And so those are, I think, two of the main reasons that companies are doing these hybrid offers. And I think that's going to be the trend again this year. I think you're going to see larger, more established banks throw their weight around. We're talking with a number of these banks all over the country, actually, New York, Silicon Valley. And so the timing feels right for larger players to enter the space. And as those larger players enter, you're going to see better deals. So, I think the hybrid offering, it really makes a lot of sense. More capital is raised, brand building. And in my mind, I'll tell you, I think, someone asked me the other day, well, what's the ideal mix, of institutional money, broker, dealer, syndicate, and the crowd? And from my perspective, a perfect Reg.A Plus IPO would be led by one or more institutional investors. So there would be institutional placement, and then the rest of the deal would be crowd financed. I wouldn't even have the brokers in that deal. And there's two reasons for that. The institutional money, which we haven't seen a lot of in the last year, I think the institutions are coming. And that's going to be a factor of the caliber of deals, the pricing of these deals. But I think that signals then to other institutions, once the company has an IPO, they list their shares, it makes it easier for them to secure secondary follow-on financing. And then the crowd, as we've seen, guys, that's the stickiest money in the deal. So to me, a perfect deal is, let's say, a $50 million Reg.A Plus IPO. Institution comes in, takes the lead for $25 million. The other $25 million is crowd financed, thousands of everyday Americans, retail investors. I think that is a deal that hasn't happened yet, but I think is inevitable, and in my mind, is kind of the perfect marriage of Main Street and Wall Street.
Yeah, because what you're saying here is that the broker dealers, that's kind of where your profit takers are coming from, and we've seen a lot of companies there, and we got a lot of questions and comments in regards to this on the Reg.A Money website that says, guys, if this thing is going so good for you guys, why has the prices been dropping on the Reg.As? And a lot of the things that we talked about here are because like you said, there is no perfect mix right now. I think that secret sauce is being developed and currently being developed. But you're right. The sticky money is with the Main Street guys. Main Street investors got that sticky because they want to see the long-term growth. The institutional guys, I think the institutional guys are kind of the exact same boat. They want to get long-term returns on their investment for their investors. And the broker-dealers are coming in, and, most of them are looking to, buy low and sell high. And you're seeing that. And because there's not a lot of, support from the broker dealers, you're seeing a lot of the pricing moving down because, there's not a lot of support, like a nice institutional behind it or, a sponsoring bank. So, that's one of the things that I do agree with you, Darren. I think that you're going to see a lot more of that start to happen, and I think you're right. Institutions are sitting on the sidelines right now watching to see, when the perfect deal comes, you're going to see that. I think you're absolutely right in the sense they're going to come out and they're going to get behind some of these deals, and that's how they're going to be taken to the next level. That 25, that 30, that 40 million plateau, that 50 million plateau is going to come down in 2018 because you're going to see a lot more institutional banks and investors come in and sponsoring some of these Reg.As that are going. Now, with that being said, companies and talking about institutions, where do you think CrowdFundX, where are you guys going? I know what you guys have done because we've talked about this on other shows. Where do you see CrowdFundX going? Now you got the artificial intelligence. You guys are always bringing something new to the market. You guys are always distinguishing yourself among all the other marketers and the guys who are thinking they're doing this, you really kind of like the benchmark. So what do you have in store that you can share with us for 2018?
So a couple things, and some of these are related to predictions. Again, our strategy on the financial marketing side has always been going upstream, and we're actually about to announce a major celebrity deal tomorrow, Thursday, January 11th, and my sense is that it is possibly a game changer in that it's a global celebrity. It's someone everyone knows, and I think that that's good not only for this individual and his team, but for the industry to really provide awareness with other business owners and entrepreneurs that Reg.A is a vehicle. So we're starting to do celebrity deals. We're starting to do a lot of aftermarket support using our AI engine, Dara, to help public companies more easily identify and acquire retail shareholders. And then at the same time, I started another business with a colleague and friend of mine who I've known for years, and we're in the process of developing a reality series that we believe this year will be bought by a major digital or traditional network featuring 10 companies that IPO live on television, with all 10 companies listing to NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. We're going to remove the 4 wealthy judges, and it's just going to be the entrepreneur talking about the origin of their business, the vision, mission, values, what their objectives are, and then it's up to the studio audience and the viewers at home who can actually fund the deal. And you're going to have people literally investing in IPOs in real time. To me, this type of show and entertainment is inevitable. The legal framework is already in place. And so I think this is the year you're going to see a show like that be bought. That's another core focus for me. CrowdFundX has a role in that. And I think that type of property also just further creates mass awareness for Reg.A. I just think, there's a lot of bright days ahead. And, I do want to make one comment because you brought something up that's really important, which is that if you look back at 2017, a lot of the deals, in fact, most of the Reg.A IPOs are trading down, and that is an issue. And I think the reason we've seen a number of these deals trading down is a reflection of the company themselves, is a reflection of the pricing in the deal, which needs to be worked out with the investment bank. There's been a lack of aftermarket support. So I kind of look at these early deals, these 8 companies in 2017 that listed to NASDAQ or NYSE. It has been a learning experience. There has been some real challenges, but these to me are just growing pains that are going to be solved. They're already being solved right now, and so I think the future is really bright. For Reg.A Plus, I think you're going to see major celebrity branded deals come to market this year, $50 million Reg.A Plus IPOs, a new type of entertainment show, whether we do it or someone else does it, where it's literally the next version of Shark Tank. The crowd can invest, the company lists, the investors are liquid upon IPO. I just think it's going to be an incredible year, guys. Really excited.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to it, Darren. We're looking very forward to it. Now, as we always do, bringing this segment to a close here on the Reg.A Money Show with Ron Costa and me, Miguel Dotres. You guys have been listening to Darren Marble from CrowdFundX. And, Darren, you've been on the show for a couple of times now, so you know that at the end of the segment, we're going to hit you with that full disclosure question. So as part of our disclosure and the celebrating and bringing in the new year, can you tell our listeners, real quick, during your celebration, best celebration for New Year's, where'd you ring in your New Year's this year?
This is just embarrassing, guys. I was out cold with the flu. This has happened to me like back to back. I was healthy all year. I was taking my vitamins. I don't drink. I don't smoke. And I got hit with this nasty flu. It's been going around LA. I was in bed for 2 days straight. My wife was nursing me. It was just pathetic. And so it was kind of a non-event. I heard my kids doing the countdown, and I came out for 30 seconds and mustered enough energy to, raise our hands and celebrate. But really, I got knocked out. I got crushed.
Oh, what a great! All right, so listen. So we hope that next year you stay healthy and happy during your new year.
Thank you.
And it sounds like you're off to a great start for this new year. I agree. We agree. We look forward to having you more on the Reg.A Money Show in the coming 2018.